Hello, everybody. I'm Lucette Brett. I'm the loan officer at CTC's Financial Aid Office. And today we're going to be talking about some different financial aid aspects that can make your life a lot easier and how to pay for your school. I'm going to go ahead and flip over to the U.S. Department of Education's website at studentaid.gov here in just a second with a reminder about some changing things based on the pandemic and the different kinds of funding that we've received. Things are going to start, I think, transitioning back to normal. So we're going to go over that. And then, of course, it's October, which means the new FAFSA is out. So let me go ahead and pop over here. 1 second. There we go. So initially, the student loan payments have been suspended and whatnot, and we were also getting a 0% interest rate. So that may be changing as well. So if you look up at the top of the screen where it says studentaid.gov, it's the same place you go to fill out your FAFSA, and it's going to have updates like this one here that says that the payments will start January 31st, 2022. Now, that doesn't mean that if you're in school that you're going to have to start paying all of a sudden. That's not what that means. That's just for if you've been out for a while and you're concerned about what you need to start doing, that those payments are going to start resuming as normal there. And right now we're going to jump over to ctcd.edu and do a quick review. Many of you use this as one of your go-tos. I highly recommend it because if students call me and ask me questions, this is exactly where I go. I'm very happy to use this little search function here with the magnifying glass. When I have any kind of question, I just ask the computer a literal question and it gives me some choices to do a little research. But for today, we're going to go to Student Tools and we're going to see if we can get it to come up here. There we go. We've got some choices. Eagle Self-Service is the first one, and that's the go-to for when you have items that need to be done in your checklist. So we're going to click on that. You just go ahead and sign in there. And once you're in there, you have two things will kind of guide you. One is the financial aid section, and then the other is going to be the account summary of where you're going to be going. Let's see if I can come back to that.
Don't log in. Thank you.
I'm sorry, what?
I thought you were going to log in and I didn't want you to log
Oh,
in.
no, no, no. No, no.
Okay.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
So we're going to go ahead and go to financial aid. There is a live chat on here where you can speak to possibly me or others in our department that are happy to help you when you need assistance. Um, so that just cracked me up, Bruce. Now I've lost my train
Sorry.
of thought. It's
We
okay.
had that issue last time and so I didn't
Yeah.
want that to become
No,
an
don't
issue
log
now.
into your personal stuff. Okay.
Yes,
So
exactly.
yeah. So we do have some deadlines coming up, and um, as you can see on here, it shows you about, it says start now, don't wait. And it's really not too late. We actually have until about the 30th of this month where you can still apply for financial aid. And then for the 22-23 school year, the new FAFSA is out for that as well. So that being said, again, I'm at the financial aid webpage. This is the first webpage. So the dates are very important when you're talking about financial aid because the Department of Education goes 2 years back. So for this year that you're seeing on the screen here for fall 21, spring 22, summer 22, that is all based on your 2019 tax and income information. So when you go over to do your FAFSA, you're going to be looking for the 22-23. I know I'm saying 23 already and we're still in 21. So you go to the original main page there and it automatically gives you a login. There's that little reminder about the payments coming up. And so it gives you a lot of options, and then there's this little owl is down here. You can ask the owl questions. That's not their live chat, by the way. They do have their own live chat for when you are in the FAFSA. Once you log in, if you get stuck, you can either call them, they have an 800 number, or you can go to their live chat, but you do have to be logged in early. So here's what they're telling you, just what we tell you on ours: start early, start early, start early. This is early for next academic year, so make sure that you're with that. And then when you go in, you can see on this, even this main webpage, 22-23 FAFSA form is available October 1st. Always on October 1st is when they start. And it will take you to this page right here. It tells you it is a free application. Now, for the 22-23, remember I said it was for 2 years back. That's going to be your 2020 income and tax information. So before you log in and start, make sure you have either your 2020 transcript from the IRS, which is pretty easy to get, or your actual 1040, depending on how you filed, just as a backup. Many students like to use the IRS data retrieval tool, which is available once you log in to the FAFSA. Um, I'm going to show you what happens right here. I'm just going to type in FAFSA 2022 to 2023. There we go. And so it gives you the information on here. This is what the paper one would actually look like. The questions are still going to be the same, but you are going to need the 2020 information on there. If you when you originally log in, sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied here. It's going to ask you if you want to use the IRS data retrieval tool, and if you check yes, it automatically fills it out. But sometimes it doesn't always work, and that's why I said make sure that you have the 2020 information in front of you. There aren't that many questions, and most of them go line by line to explain exactly which space on your tax return is going to be put into the actual spaces on your FAFSA. So it's, again, this is, a copy, but whatnot. It's really not that difficult. And if you have questions, you can always call us, but there's the live chat that you can do as well. So I'm going to go back to our webpage here. Um, okay, so it's not too late, even for the fall term, this term, for this academic year. But that one's going to need your 2019 information. And the reason I'm saying that is because CTC is notorious for having many different classes starting at different times. And it's my understanding we actually have a class starting in November, maybe even December, that's still eligible. Remember that in order for classes to be eligible for financial aid, they have to begin and end within the term. But most of these classes are going to end by December 31st. They will be covered by financial aid. So make sure that you get your financial aid in there. Now, the FAFSA isn't the only thing that CTC has to offer. There's different scholarships you can get. You can even check with your content area or your degree that you're seeking. They may have special ones, but we also have the ARP grant and the Carissa grants that are still available. So I'm going to take a step back here, and we're going to look way at the top of the screen here in tiny red letters. It says COVID-19 return to campus. If you click on that, there we go. It has our reopening guidelines, health and safety protocols, but the big one is right here in the middle that says financial assistance. We're going to click on that one, and it's going to take you to the different platforms that we've used. The most recent is going to be the American Rescue Plan. And when you click on that, these are going to be digital applications through eTreat. So if you recall, and I know I feel like I'm jumping back and forth a lot, at the CTC webpage, there's more than one way. Oops, let me go back here. There's more than one way to get to this. So when I'm at Student Tools here, whoops, come on. There we go. Where it says Student eForms, I can click on eForms and I can log in through eForms. Once I'm in there, I'm going to click on Forms and I can type in ARP for this grant. And again, I'm going to go back to the grant. Let's see if I can. ARP, and it'll take me directly to it. Now, the link is also within the web pages as well. It takes a little bit of kind of digging to get there where it says new emergency funding. And then anytime you see the blue like this and you scan over it, that's going to help you know that that's a link. For those of you who aren't necessarily technology savvy, I know I get a lot of students that are returners and they don't feel confident in their computer skills doing some of this stuff. So it says application still available, and that's for the ARP. Just to note, it's still available for the other. It takes you right back to that e-forms. Okay, so don't let that deter you. That's still, you're going to need to practice logging in and logging out for your e-forms. All right, so I'm going to go back to financial assistance here. Let's scroll down a little bit, and here's the CARISA. It stands for Corona Response and Relief. So you click on CARISA. In this one, it actually gives us a step-by-step guide on how to log in, which I'm not going to take your time up, but please know that it's there and it does walk you through actually logging in and filling out the application. There are check boxes. It's not anything that you have to go in great detail about. We've tried to cover most of the expenses that we think students incur and how they could have been impacted by the coronavirus. So you can just go through and answer those questions. We've got the HERF reports there. See, there's the actual link. Again, it's got the blue lettering. You click on it and it's going to take you right to that. Now that's the $500 grant. The ARP grant that we were discussing before. If you are going 3 hours to 11 hours, it's a $1,000 grant. If you are a full-time student, then that's going to be a $2,000 grant. And everybody's excited about this free money. Um, However, please understand that once we get your application and it goes through the process and it gets approved, it doesn't mean immediately you're going to receive funds in your banking account. That's not how this is working. Once you're in your class and you go through the census date, then the business office takes over and they will refund money just like they do for a Pell Award or even our student loans. So that's something that you're going to need to know there. Let's see, let's go back to the financial aid webpage here. Since we are live, Bruce, do we have any questions or anything from anyone?
There was one, you mentioned that it's not too late. Is it too late? And the different start dates, is it too late for classes starting this Monday, October 18th?
No, it's not too late. You can still apply.
Great.
Absolutely. So you would need to go to studentaid.gov to where the FAFSA is, like I just taken you there. Also, Google is your friend on this. If you just type in FAFSA, those will automatically come up and take you to them. But when you fill out that FAFSA, you're going to, most of the time it will default to the 22-23 year now because it's already been populated. So make sure that when you're filling it out, it says 2021-2022. Otherwise, you're ahead of the game for next year, but you still need to do this FAFSA. Using 2019 tax information is a good indicator of, am I on the right one or not? And it does take at least 3 to 5 business days for us to pull it in. That still doesn't mean that it's too late. So that's a good question. Was there any
Because we
others?
have the 8-week classes starting on the 18th, so that's why that came up. So, and no, but the ARP grant, you said that it's not automatic. I mean, you don't get it, so it's more like a reimbursement after the census date. Is that correct?
Um, well, it's the way it reads in our system in Eagle Self-Service. So it shows awards in your Eagle Self-Service. It populates in the different sections. And then once it's going to be sent out to students, it shows up in the refund section.
Okay. Okay, so students initially have to pay for the classes, and then that money will be sent to them after the fact. Is that correct?
They do have to be registered for a class in order to apply for the ARP and the CARISA grants. They have to be registered in at least one class.
Okay.
That said, because they can reimburse themselves for that. When you fill out the ARP grant, there's a section to where you can mark that you want your funds to go towards your tuition and expenses for fall. And you can mark that. Then that allows the bookstore, that's a big one, the bookstore and the business office to use those funds to pay for your tuition so your classes don't get dropped. Now, I understand some students have had their book orders canceled because they were going to use the ARP grant to pay for their books. But if you go to CTC Bookstore online and you want to purchase your books through that, make sure in the comments section that you put that you want your ARP funds to cover those expenses. So again, they offer a lot more in the bookstore than just books, but should you want to use those funds, you do have to make sure that they know that it's okay for them to use that. So if you're in doubt, I would call the bookstore and I would call the business office and say, I don't remember what I marked on my application, but I do want to be able to use those funds for books and tuition.
No, that's
It's
great because that clears up some misconceptions or misunderstandings about, okay, so I'm waiting for this money to come to me so I can pay for my books, pay for my classes, or do I go ahead and pay for it up front and get reimbursed and then what happens? So yeah, that clarifies that. Thank you.
absolutely. Are there any other questions about that?
Not right now. That you might want to, I don't know, if you want to cover some of the more common questions or frequently asked questions that you get about ARP or CRISA. I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm covering now.
There you go.
Is
Okay,
that,
great.
yeah.
Sorry,
Um,
I'm jumping
I
ahead.
just had an email this morning. When do I? A lot of times students confuse the word disbursement with what they're getting in their bank account,
Right.
or they use their account with CTC interchangeable with their bank account, and that's just not the case. So I try to remind them that um, how the typical process works is you complete the FAFSA. It takes us usually about a week to pull the FAFSA in. We process it. Should we have all the information that we need, then we disperse the funds, which means they go to the business office then that pays your tuition and fees and everything. Now, that doesn't mean that the business office can't see that you're getting a financial award, and that helps them to know, especially if it's before classes, because we release funds 10 days prior to classes starting. So we have classes coming up. I know my class actually starts the 18th. We have classes starting the 15th. So if you are starting class and your FAFSA was done months ago and you don't see a disbursement in your Eagle self-service, then you should give us a call because there may be a hiccup. Maybe the U.S. Department of Education is requiring another form from you. There's many different reasons why you may not have gotten a disbursement. If your master promissory note for your loans, for example, if it's close to expiring, when a disbursement is about to go out, sometimes it won't release the disbursement until you update your MPN. And that's a that's a good one to bring up as well. So, like I was saying, the on the 8th, I believe, um, most of the disbursements did go out. So we have a lot of students right now that are buying books and getting ready for their classes starting this week. Okay, let's see. Yeah. And then the link to the FAFSA is also on our webpage. And the Carissa is also on our main webpage as well. Now, if you look over here, you see this weird little button for calculators. This is another one that we get some calls on. Sometimes, students have a hiccup with things going on in the world and they don't meet SAP progress standards. So they can either be given a warning depending on what has happened with their classes. Because if you're not meeting a 2.0 GPA and you're not completing the courses, then you may be placed on a suspension. And so one of the ways to keep track of that is click on these calculators. The way that we do it is with completion rate and GPA. So if you're in doubt, you can click on these, go in to see if you're meeting that 67% completion rate by how many hours have you attempted. And what that means is we also consider the hours that you have from other schools as well, not just CTCs. It's all of your hours count towards your financial aid through the U.S. Department of Education. And here's the hours that you completed, and then that gives us our completion rate. Now, again, there's links to self-service and links for your SAP to explain the SAP standards. And then if you'll notice, the calculator button is still over here to the right, or you can go back to financial aid to see it again, but I'm going to click on calculators again. There's GPA. We have a brief video there about calculating your GPA. So you have all of your classes here. And then you go down to your previous GPA and your previously completed hours, and you can do that as well. You could probably also send us an email, and we're happy to do that. But the SAP is calculated after every term, and notifications are sent out. We do get a lot of calls on warnings. Just because you completed a class last week, it doesn't mean we're going to recalculate SAP automatically, because we are in the middle of a term. And so that's some of the questions that we get as well. Let's see here. Go back to financial aid. All right, so a lot of times we get asked veterans benefits questions. That's upstairs. That's a different section of financial aid, but we are always happy to help you when it comes to that, to getting you to the right person that you need. Another question that we have, a lot of times students think that financial aid is infinite, that it's just going to keep going on forever. And that also is not the case. There are financial aid limits. So when you get close, we do have a consortium agreement with Texas A&M Central Texas, which is right up the road from us. So I always recommend to students that they pay attention to what their degree plan is and start looking ahead, because I know that we work closely with Texas A&M, and the powers that be are very good about making sure our classes align with other schools so that you could keep moving forward. And you can get more than one degree here. But for financial aid purposes, we go up to 90 attempted hours. Once you have attempted 90 hours, that's the most that you can get from financial aid at our school. Doesn't mean that you can't work an agreement, like I was explaining, the consortium with A&M Central Texas, because that opens up more hours for you, but you may still need some of your core classes here for that degree, and that's why we work with Central Texas A&M. Let's see if I can pull that up right quick. And it pops right up for me. Oh, sorry, I like to click pretty quick. All right, and there's even a link to go to Texas A&M Central Texas to find out about that. So like I was explaining before, this search bar, if you have any kind of questions, sometimes it's difficult to maneuver within the financial aid pages. There are a lot of choices over here for resources, types of aid, the consortium, the calculators, and it can get confusing. Of course, you can always contact us. And like I had said before, we do have our live chat. Why the live chat button isn't popping up for me there, I don't know. That should be there as well. So if you have any questions at all, I'm more than happy to help you. But I think that pretty much covers all of the topics that I had in mind today. Bruce, did we have any other questions?
One other question: how often do I need to do the FAFSA? For example, if I did it for the fall semester, do I need to resubmit for spring and summer, or is it good for an entire academic year?
It is good for an entire academic year. So
So if I start in the fall with my FAFSA, it'll carry over to the spring.
absolutely, and summer. Summer is a
Summer.
separate application for us here at CTC if you're wanting loans. But and again, every school is potentially a little bit different. Our summer session is our trailer, but some schools have it as a header. So depending on what you're doing now, your academic year for us is fall 21, spring 22, summer 22. If you're intending to go to another school because you're getting close to that degree, you're ready to move on and get up to the bachelor's, you want to be careful of if you're getting an award for us for summer or you're wanting to go on to that next school over the summer, because you cannot typically receive financial aid from two schools at the same time.
Okay. So what about somebody
Questions?
who's just starting out in spring? What would their academic year look like? Would it be spring and summer only, or would it include the
No,
fall?
it's still the same academic year as far as the U.S. Department of Education is concerned. They're only going to be eligible for spring and summer, but it's still going to be
Okay.
the 21-22 FAFSA. And again, um, the deadline for the loans is going to be pushed to March 30th. So we're very lenient with that, but for student loans, up until March 30th, they can actually receive loans for spring 22.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
And when students get the reimbursement, what's the best way for them to get reimbursement? Do they have to come up to the business office and pick up a check? And I've heard that it's probably best for them to set up like a direct deposit kind of thing.
Absolutely. In Eagle Self Service, I highly recommend the direct deposit because it eliminates the snail mail and you'll get it as soon as they process it. You can do that in your Eagle Self Service. Um, they've kind of switched over from the Web Advisor. I try to not say
Right.
Web Advisor anymore, so I'm still working on that. But in the Eagle Self Service, you can go in and add a bank account, and that can be your primary way to get refunds. Um, I know that we have a transient population and people move quite frequently with the military getting deployed and whatnot. So I absolutely recommend doing the direct deposit for that.
Right.
Oh, another question I get is we have a lot of students that are like, oh no, I really don't want my loans. Well, at this point, we've already dispersed them and you probably have already received a refund for them. That doesn't mean that you still can't cancel them. What it means is you'll need to either return the check or um, refund the money back to the business office so that we can cancel them.
Yeah. Great. Lee, do you have any questions on Facebook or any comments?
And no, there's none at this time.
Okay, and I don't have any more on WebEx either. So any last words of wisdom, Lizette, that you can share to our students?
Um, get that FAFSA done early. The one for everybody has their 2020 Texas already done, I'm pretty sure. So there's no harm, no foul. Even if you don't want to go to CTC, log in, get your FAFSA taken care of so you don't have to worry about it. Stay on top of things. My signature on my email says, remember to check your self-service and your Eagle Mail at least once a week because something may pop up that we need information from you, or there may, be something from the Department of Ed that they're needing, like that MPN issue. Always stay on top of your master promissory notes and making sure they're not expired so that there's no delay in getting your funds.
Okay, great. And who can students call or contact rather or email? Is there one specific email that works best or a phone number that works best?
Financial.aid@ctcd.edu.
Okay, I'm going to type that into the chat real quick. My typing's not the best. Financial aid, right, at
Mhm.
CTCD.
Financial.aid@ctcd.edu.
Right.
Yep,
There
and
we go.
all of that is on that financial aid webpage. Then I believe the phone number is going to be 254 five
Mhm.
two six 1508 is
Oh,
the
okay. I
main
put
number
up
there.
1268 on there.
Yeah.
1508. Yeah, I put 1268. Is that still an okay number?
Yeah.
Okay.
We
There's
have
another
we
option
have
there, the
several numbers.
526 1508. There we
I
go.
think that
So we've got
when
them
you
all
call,
covered
you
there.
kind of get routed depending on what your needs are. If it's a specific loan question, typically you should select whatever my number is, and I'm not even sure what it is at this point. So.
Okay, great. All right, and for those of you who joined us late, and if there's anything you missed, just be aware that this presentation will be available on YouTube later today, so you can click on it and pick up any information that you missed, or if there's something that you need to recap or review, then you can view the YouTube presentation. And again, that will be available on CTC's YouTube page later on this afternoon. So again, so Lucette, thank you so much for this month's financial aid update. We certainly appreciate it.
Oh,
And
one more thing. Sorry.
yes, ma'am.
We're open. A lot of places aren't open or you have to do appointments. We are open. If you want to come face to face and see us, absolutely come on in because we are open.
And where are you located? Are you in the
We are
enrollment
in
center or next
building
door?
215 on the central campus.
250. And I believe that's student services now. I believe that's what that's called,
Yes.
next to the enrollment
Yeah.
center. All right. So look for that sign out in the front of the building, building 215, student services. It's right next to the enrollment center.
Yeah.
There you
Our
go.
parking lot is in the back.
Okay,
So,
that makes it easy too, because
yeah.
people drive around that loop there and say, well, where do I
Yeah.
park?
Because you
So
can walk
that's
in from the back too. It kind of looks intimidating when you're coming down the road and there's nothing in the front. Yeah. So,
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay. Well, the financial aid options are there for you. You can make an appointment or you can drop in and see Lucette and the rest of the financial aid staff and get answers to your questions or get the help that you need. And again, you can refer to this session on YouTube later. So we will be back in November, the second Tuesday in November, with another update or any other changes or anything that the government has imposed that might affect your financial aid, or if it's just a
yeah,
recap of basic FAFSA info, please make sure you tune in there. It'll be at 10 a.m. on the second Tuesday of November. And again, Lucette, thank you so much for your time. We truly appreciate it. And I know the students appreciate the
absolutely.
helpful info.
We try to get everybody what they need. Absolutely.
And we appreciate that. All right. Thank you, everyone. And we will see
Have a
you
great day.
at our next financial aid. We have a CTC Live on veteran services that Lucette referred to, which will cover some financial aid info and just general education benefits for the military. So tune in this Thursday at 10 a.m. for that. And then on Wednesday, this Wednesday, we have a transfer, CTC Live on transfer tips and transcripts. So some of that financial aid information will become relevant again as you think about transferring to a four-year school. So again, join us for that. That'll be at 10 a.m. as well tomorrow. So again, Lucette, thank you. Lee Greenthanger, thank you for hosting, and we'll see you all on the next CTC Live. Take care.